Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeremy Pogue, and today I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Arsh. He is a fitness coach who has been absolutely crushing it since we started working together just a couple months ago. So, Arsh, welcome to the channel, man. Do you mind just giving us a quick little rundown of kind of who you are, what you do, and what the transformation was that you saw working with
Yeah,
us?
for sure. Thanks for having me on the channel here. So for myself, I'm an online fitness coach. I started in 2023, basically full time. I came into, your program, seeking help, seeking that opportunity to grow. I was up and down like most coaches, 15 to $20,000. But I think the biggest thing with me was I had no idea what the next month would look like. That was my biggest concern. So even if I hit $20,000, which is like, for most fitness coaches, that's good enough money, I wouldn't be concerned. I'd have a lot of anxiety the next day about how am I going to do this again? How am I going to do it again? Because when you're only relying on organic or methods that you have no idea, you're shooting in the dark, it's stressful. So I wanted to solve all this. I wanted to kind of hit that next level. So I joined your program and learned a lot of good stuff that I took away, and also the paid side of things. And from there, I scaled up, hit my first 50K month, and landed this testimonial here, which was, something that I wanted to get on as well because I see so many people succeeding in your program, and that's one of the things I want to join because I see people succeeding, and I'm like, hey, if this guy can do it, this guy can do it. There's nothing that you need to cheat the algorithm to try and grow. Like you can, there's a way to go there. There's a path to success. And so I hit my first 50K month, and now I have all the confidence in the world, and I just want to keep going now.
That's awesome, man. Now let's dive into that a little bit too, in terms of the like what was it that really just triggered that explosive growth? Because you're doing like 15 to 20K a month before. And I think we started working together in like April. And then in May, you did 57K. So like 45 days later, what happened between like in that time frame? Was it proximity to winners in the community? Was it obviously, I'm sure like the tactical side of things helped with in terms of like getting the ad set up, setters, stuff like that. But was there anything else that kind of happened like outside of that or just kind of behind the scenes? Was it like a mental shift? Was it the community and proximity? I'd love to just
Yeah.
kind of get your perspective on that.
Yeah, I think it was everything. I think first of all, the proximity to winners helps you maintain that mindset that like even if everyone's winning, there's no way I can lose. And when you see people celebrating wins all day long, like you're surrounded by that all day long. So you have an extra like oomph behind your step to go to the next level. That's number one. I think number two, the community, inside Summit, it's an A to Z solution. So everything that I was struggling with, like, because some people they'll start testing ads, but they don't know how to set calls after that. They don't know how to close calls. When we come into your program, we have everything. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the full picture because obviously, like when you start studying a lot of business and you want to get next level, you understand that if you have a hole in your boat, you're going to start sinking eventually. So I want to make sure that I was good to go. So the proximity, scripting an ad out with you, which was very good, just to give you that kind of like start, and then putting things into place, working with, Eduardo, and figuring out how to set calls, working with Austin, like everyone inside the community there really helped me grow. And then I think just anything that you're struggling with, like there's a call, daily. So just the whole thing together gives you the confidence to really have a killer instinct. And if you are struggling on the way, there's a solution for it all. And then, you just go from there, and things grow, and you just have to trust yourself. But I think it was everything all together. It was a one-stop solution for literally scale to 50K.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I was just on a team call as well with the guys just before hopping on with you. And we're always talking about ways we can like improve it and stuff like that too. But it's good kind of confirmation for me right now, just kind of hear it's like, okay, things are like we've got things pretty solid, pretty locked down at the moment in terms of like the full solution because our goal is to help people get to that point as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's awesome. Um, so I'm curious to know as well. There's a lot of fitness coaches that are probably watching this right now, and they've probably been stuck anywhere from probably like 5 to 20K a month. What would you tell them? And like, if you can go back and have a conversation with your old self, let's say this time last year, or even just 6 months ago, like What advice would you give to somebody who's trying to get past that plateau and kind of that ceiling that they're stuck at right now and to hit the first 50K month?
I would say first and foremost, work on yourself, personal development first and foremost. Because before you even make an investment into any program, you're not going to make that investment if you don't believe in yourself. So just to get into the doorway of this success, you got to work on yourself, right? Make sure you're in good shape, make sure your mind is in good shape. That's gonna bring you to a higher frequency so that you make the next, so you bet on yourself, you put the money on the line, and you're confident in yourself. That's like the foremost foundation. Number two, even if you're not in any program, you're not doing anything paid, just work on your own brand first. Put out really good content. This is the foundation of where you are. I think it was you or someone said that paid ads, the secret sauce behind them is good organic content with it as well. Because when people see a paid ad and they click on your page, but your page sucks, like you're gonna drop off eventually. So you have to work on the foundation, right? Because like when we join your program, it's like adding rocket fuel to get to the next level. But you've seen a rocket go in the air and explode, and you don't want to get there either. So you have to work on yourself, work on the basics first. And so that when you do join a program like this, like you're ready to take off. Because like if you have a hole in your boat, you're gonna sink eventually. So, work on yourself, get in really good shape, and then don't be scared to bet on yourself, I would say, because once you have that confidence in yourself, then nothing gets in your way because it's not how you do something, it's who's gonna do it. So you have to have it up here first. Because when
Mm.
someone gives you a solution, if you can't even execute it, then there's no point. So you have to make yourself bulletproof first, and then like your program is an all-in-one stop shop. So there's nothing that's gonna stop you at that point.
I love that. And it's funny, man. On that team call about an hour ago, I was telling the guys that I had this call set up with you. And Eduardo was actually like, dude, like he's like, it's gonna be such an amazing call because like you're one of those guys where you come into the program. It didn't take us that long. It didn't take us too many calls. We weren't going back on Slack all day long every single day. It's like we gave you what you needed and you took it and ran with it, right? And I think if a lot more entrepreneurs had that kind of character trait of just like relentless action, just execution, just actually just going forward and doing it, then there would be a lot more entrepreneurs that are cracking 50K months as well, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to kind of give a little shout out to you for that because it's been a pleasure and just an absolute blast from our side working with you too, and kind of seeing you just take it and run with it, and then just creating a lot of success for yourself has been really rewarding from our end as well. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. Starting internally,
Yeah.
and then external stuff comes pretty easy. Another question I have for you too is because pretty much every single one of my clients has gone through other programs in the past. I'm curious to hear from your perspective, like, and I do fundamentally believe that like every program I've gone through does contribute to my success, right? I mean, just in the last month, I've spent like 50 grand on more programs and
Yeah.
mentors and stuff like that, right? So I'm continuing to do it. But aside from that, like, if somebody was kind of like, because I've had clients as well, maybe they just joined another program, maybe like a few months ago, and like they're not really seeing that much growth and it's not really working. But they're like, oh, but I've got X amount more months left in this thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait until that. Because yeah, I have a lot of clients that have been in other programs, maybe currently in other ones and stuff like that. Like, what stood out for you? First of all, like, why'd you join in the first place? What really appealed? Like, what drew you towards us? And then like what led to the success in our program that you didn't necessarily find in others?
Yeah. So I just first of all, when you have a burning desire to get to next level, like you're gonna attract the right people into your life. Like that's just gonna happen. And if you work on yourself, you get that intuitive kind of like knowing, okay, I need to take this next step here. So all the programs I've done in the past and masterminds I've done in the past, I've taken a piece of everything I could out of those programs, right? Like I even did a program on content. So now that program itself didn't take me 50K, but it's put that foundation in place. So now I have good organic stuff. So when I do paid ads with you, it all clicks together. So I took pieces from everything so far. Why I joined you guys is because first of all, I need people in the program that are succeeding. And when you see a lot of social proof, you understand that okay, everyone succeeds. I'm the next one in here, right? And like even when I saw people's YouTube video of their testimony with you, I already started telling myself as soon as I joined the program, I'm gonna be on that YouTube ASAP because that was like a benchmark for me. So I started visualizing that, and so I just knew that it was the right way. Obviously Adrian, I know Adrian from another mastermind, so I took a piece of that mastermind. I met someone from there, and like I know people say that like your journey, you should be able to find pieces the whole way on your journey, right? Like obviously you have a lot of mentors in your life, and
Yeah.
like one for example like Dan Martell, right? Like you found him because you moved to that city, maybe whatever it is. So you have to have you should be on the lookout for all new masterminds. If you have time left in a program and it's not serving you, you got to realize time is money. So like people always say I already paid for it, right? But like, what's the opportunity cost of not taking action right now if you don't move to the next level? You just gotta forget it. You have to have an abundant mindset. Like that's the biggest thing I think some people, even I struggle with it. Everyone struggles to some extent. I get the top people struggle with it to some extent, but you have to have an abundant mindset and say, whatever money I invested, I got to move on and go to the next level, right? Because there's an opportunity cost for all the time you waited. What if you spend $2,000 in that program, whatever it is? You got a couple months left. But if you don't move to the next level, now maybe you wasted 4 months of making $20,000. So the opportunity cost is $80,000. So you have to think like that. And you got to realize this just success loves speed. Move to the next level, move to the next level, be the smallest fish, in that ocean, the smallest person in the room to get to the next level. And just keep growing, right? Like, but in a way where like you enjoy the process. And there's so many, I've learned so much to this program, like the whole funnel, right? Like even the bottom, like fulfillment, like I've bulletproof my program now because like you've given me that insight, right? And when you join a program, like your time collapsing, they're giving you that path. And so I just knew it was I don't know what it is. I just had an intuitive hunch, I guess, but I was like, this is the next step. And it worked out.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'd love to actually kind of pick apart like each stage of the funnel and kind of hear about some of your biggest insights in like the top, the middle, the bottom, and then like the back end delivery side too. Because like you said, it's like it was a very clear kind of sequential process with you. It was like, okay, first thing we need to do is just get qualified leads coming to you, right? We had to crack the top of the funnel with the ads, and then we go into like the setting and like the sales assets and stuff like that, right? How do we get people onto a call, and then how do we close them, right? And so obviously you had a lot of experience before coming into it with sales and stuff like that too, right? But working like with Austin has been a huge help as well. For those watching, Austin's a sales coach inside the program, is a weapon. And yeah,
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, I'd love to just kind of tackle it with like each piece of the funnel one by one, and just kind of hear some of your greatest insights when it comes to, let's say, let's start at the top and then we'll work our way down. But like, what was kind of like the biggest lever for you when it came to top of funnel? It could be like a lesson you learned, either like a lever that we pulled that unlocked things. Yeah, I love just kind of like hear your best piece of advice to somebody on how to unlock their top of funnel and get a lot of qualified leads coming to them that have money and the pain to change.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing was putting a setter in place, right? Because when you're wearing so many hats in the business, you're trying to create content, you're trying to do this, you're trying to work with your clients, you are going to run out of mental bandwidth that day. And there are people that are going to slip the cracks, right? And eventually you're going to start losing momentum and you're going to start thinking, why aren't I growing? But there are people, if you are already in it, you're already making content, there are people that are willing to pay you because you have the knowledge. But you're just not going to get on a call with them ever because you're wearing too many hats. So a setter, right? Like same thing, buy back your time, right? We understand that concept now. So a setter allows you to buy back your time. You make better content. You can put all of your energy into the sales call now and close that client, as opposed to putting all of your energy sending out 150 touch points and openers, right? For some people like myself, I just can't do it every single day. So when you skip a couple of days, everything starts falling apart. So a setter for me really pulled that lever to get calls booked. I think the ad that we drafted up helped bring eyeballs to my page. But when you're just doing organic on your own, you don't have any eyeballs really, right? There's very few. I think like 1 or 2% of people are viral out there. Everyone else, like you got to realize, like if you're here to serve, you have to get eyeballs on your content. You have to be in conversation all day long. So everyone has to play a role. You have to build out your team. So putting that setter in place really unlocked things for me. I was able to dial in my calls and close more clients because I didn't have to spend any mental bandwidth booking the call, right? I just have to work with a team and just kind of dial in the process of tonality and just kind of making sure that we're talking to the right people. But like anyone can do that, like the managing part of it. But when you're in the trenches and you're in too many trenches, then that's where things fall apart. So I think for me, that really was the big lever that got pulled, putting a setter in place, having the right ad, and then the right eyeballs.
That's awesome, man. Okay, I got a couple good follow-ups to that. We'll start with the ad and then we'll go to the setter. So with the ad, how many ads are you running right now? How many ads have you tested? And I'd love to just kind of hear that process.
Yeah, I only put one ad and I haven't tested anything else. It's literally just the ad that we scripted on the call. Um, and
Mhm.
that's it. Like we've only been in the program for I don't even know 90 days so far. Like I've only had the one ad going. That's it. And I
Yeah.
haven't tested anything. Now, moving forward, we're gonna start doing some more mid funnel, but I should test more ads. But like when you come off a 57K month, you're just like, all right, like let's just keep it going, right? And so I've
Yeah.
only done the one ad. I've only hit that one ad. And that's it so far.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Just the
And
bullseye right off the bat.
yeah, I mean, hey, like my mentality is like if it works, like scale it.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people actually, it's funny, man. Some of my best clients, they just like we script out one ad together on our onboarding call and they just run that and it just takes them to 50K a month, 100K a month, and then like that's it. And like that was the case for me. I ran one ad that got me to like 200 a month. And then Tom, for example, he got from 0 to 100K a month with one ad as well. And like I've ton like Payton, same thing, 15 to like 120 with one ad. And I think it's just a matter of like finding what works. And obviously like I think I've gotten pretty good at kind of like figuring out which ads are going to work and kind of the best angles to take and how to script them properly, just because I do it with every single client that I work with on that first onboarding call. Um, so kind of like leaning into just that experience a little bit, but then also, um, some people we don't crack it on the first try, right? So you have to test a few and stuff like that too. But once you do find that winner, cool, buckle up,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really really funny to hear, but also not surprising. And I see a lot of people sabotage themselves because they want to test too many things. They hyper obsess over all of the specific numbers and the data, and it actually kind of shoots themselves in the foot because they don't actually just give it the time and the time and the money it needs to kind of do its thing. So um that's sweet. And then okay, so shifting focus from the top little bit lower with the setter, which is a huge lever for you to pull, right? How'd you find the setter? Where'd you find them? And what advice would you have to somebody on like training them up and kind of dialing in that process?
Yeah, so I've been through a couple different setters now. I think this is my third setter, and I finally found one that works for me. I found them on Upwork, the site, gave them an interview, and it worked out. Um,
Nice.
I think what was happening before was I had setters that were kind of doing it part-time or kind of doing it as a side hustle, or they say they're all in, but like you would see that they're not all in either. And if you want someone to help your business grow, you have to find someone that's all in, right? Obviously, you got to pay them well. You have to make sure that you train them well. You got to be the leader anyways. And anyone you hire, you have to be the leader because they feel the energy off you. But this setter I have here, I think honestly, one of the magic like the magic that I was able to put together was with the training that I learned through Summit with you guys was the setting process, the SOP there. That helped big time, right? Because before, like, we learn all about like not having a lot of friction in the beginning, right? Because like we're trying to scale up. So like there could be an extra five sales you make a week, but you're pushing them away because you're only trying to jump on calls with people who are qualified, but you have no idea who's qualified or not. And we learned even, and we have experience now, everyone has money. If you realize someone has enough pain, like we live in North America, someone could put together a couple $100, $1,000, whatever it is, just to get some help. And so everyone is a potential lead. And I think that the training we got through you guys and Eduardo it really helped just create natural conversations and not that like cringe, like robotic sounding stuff. Cause like everyone nowadays like thinks that whoever you are, it's not even you talking, or that like you're trying to sell them right off the bat. And I think that's what I was doing before too. Like I would
Mm.
frame the conversation like like you're just someone that I want to sell to. And when the people like human beings, like we can smell that a mile away. And so I never even got on calls with people because like people just smelt the commission off my breath, I guess you would say, right? Commission breath, we call it. And I think when I started kind of coming more from a place of serving people, talking to them naturally, just letting the conversation, naturally just fold and like really working on that with my setter, but following the protocol and the framework you guys gave, it just brought everything together, and more people started booking calls because there's a method to this. Like you need to follow a certain method that's proven, and then you'll see success. So that's what I did with you guys, and yeah, I think it was in May. I think we had 70 calls booked on the calendar in
Wow.
May. Yeah, I think out of those 70, maybe like there was 50 that showed up, and then May was the month that I had the biggest income ever, and it was because of the setting, right? The calls, all of this, it's all part of the same puzzle.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's take a bit of a step back now, and I'd love to kind of dive into the offer, your pricing and stuff like that too, right? Because there's a wide range of like fitness coaches specifically. Some just charge like low ticket,
Yeah.
recurring, some charge high ticket. How much do you charge? How does your program break down? And this is going to segue into how did we solve for the lead quality problem in terms of like finances and stuff like that? Because I know a lot of people that go viral and whatever, they attract a lot of people, but a lot of
Yeah.
people are
Yeah, I think when you chase that trying to go viral, and I learned this firsthand too, you have to sift through a lot of dirt, right? Like we say, and what that screws up all of your time in the DMs. You're here to serve people and make money, right? Change lives, make money. That's the biggest thing you want to do. And if you're just going viral, you're gonna get a lot of low quality leads. I don't go low ticket. I go high ticket or mid ticket. I don't even know. I don't high ticket like nowadays. We know high ticket is high ticket. People charge a lot, but I charge $3,000 for a 6 month program, and I charge $6,000 for a 6 month program with some one-on-one calls with me, right? The $3,000 program, you're still getting one-on-one help me, but not one-on-one Zoom calls. There's a group coaching call, but one-on-one helping me through my app. Because I feel like I work with mainly people that are 30 years and older, like executives, lawyers, realtors, accountants, doctors, everyone. And I feel like they need more of my help. Otherwise, like they're not going to go anywhere, right? They need
yeah,
help with their lifestyle, they need help with their mindset, they need me to give them analogies, metaphors to really paint the picture, all of that. So I charge what I charge because I want to give more of myself to them, and that really helps a lot of them kind of understand the picture. Like they'll be like, "Hey, well, I'm going to restaurants, I have social events, and I'm really able to cater things around their lifestyle." Um, so yeah, that's my price point is $3,000 for 6 months or 6,000 for 6 months, depending on which program or package they buy.
love that, man. How do you find people that can pay you that much?
I think your brand will bring the right people to the door because they see, like, for example, like I'm running Hugo Boss. Okay, that's nothing crazy, but like someone kind
Mhm.
of understands, okay, this person's kind of like makes enough money to support themselves, right? If I was wearing like if my brand and the way I looked and carried myself was a lower quality person, then you're gonna bring lower quality people, right? Like people are attracted to that, right? And so I just kind of I put in my program and even in my Instagram, like, I'm an executive fitness coach. So someone should have a job, right? If you want to talk to me. Um, and I think also like in the I can and I've been doing it for so long that I can tell through someone's profile if they seem like a quality person or not. And pretty soon, as soon as you start talking to the DMs, you can start getting a pretty good idea. If they don't know how to spell, if they're not even talking right, if they're not coherent, like you understand, okay, this person probably is a little bit in a rough stage of their life, right? And so
Yeah,
you can kind of sift through that way, right? And that's kind of how I do it. I kind of look at their profile, the picture, if I can gather some evidence off their profile, descriptions, if their profile is open, and then how they talk in the DMs. That's huge. Like right off the bat, if someone has like some really weird out there sentences where it doesn't even make sense and the spelling's all off, then it's a red flag goes off, and then we have to try and figure it out. But if someone talks well, they're they got pain, and I can tell that they're in a position where they need help, I'll always jump on a call and see if I can help.
that's awesome, man. And I'd love to hear some of your main takeaways and insights and just kind of lessons that you've learned about back end delivery, right? So it's one thing to get a bunch of clients, but it's another thing to actually delivering the transformation that we have, and to make sure that they send us referrals, that they keep coming back and kind of just go for renewals and stuff like that. So I'd love to just kind of hear your perspective and some things that you've learned along the way on providing a really good client experience.
Yeah, I think I put myself in their shoes. What would I need? Right? Because I was 40 pounds overweight at one point. I would not want a complicated program. I would not want a coach that disappears on me. I would not want to feel left alone or abandoned. So I just made sure that I put myself in my client's shoes basically. I'm trying to help myself. I'm trying to help like the version of like, like people always say, like, find who your ideal client was, someone who had a lot of success in your program and feel like you're talking to them. Right. And I always try and dumb things down, put things in simple words because like that's just the way you can explain it. So I always use like metaphors and analogies to talk to my clients. Like if I have someone in the real estate profession, I'll be like, hey man, you want to try and build muscle now. It's kind of like building equity in a home. It's going to set you up for long term. And they go, oh, okay. So like I always using that approach. But I think like I think I just do a lot of different things now. I've hired a team to help out. I've put a lot of checkpoints in. I make sure that I have systems in place so that if someone doesn't respond to me in my app, I'm checking in with them quite often. I think I just kind of step more into my power and made sure that I'm able to serve my clients to the best that I can because I understand that if I come from that angle and I serve my clients, the universe will bring more clients to me, right? Because like that's just the way it all is. Um, so I think it's still a work in progress. I'm still trying to figure out. I think it's always gonna be a work in progress. I just yesterday or 2 days ago filmed some more onboarding stuff just to make sure that like with the onboarding experience, that's like the first impression. And if that doesn't go well, like things go south real quick, right? So I'm always just trying to improve it. I don't think it's ever gonna be done. I just think that you just have to come from that angle of serving and then you'll figure it out. If you got to bring the right team members on board, pay them whatever you got to pay them because if you don't pay them and they can't help your clients either, the whole thing's gonna fall apart. Like now I'm getting more and more referrals where like last week I had 3 people that joined and they were like, oh yeah, I joined because like my cousin in your program and this is my program. I was like, oh damn, that's pretty cool. So that word of mouth is getting a lot is going far now. And that's a testament to the work you put into your program. But I think it's always gonna be a work in progress. I don't think it's ever gonna end. Even yourself, like you're saying, you're still talking to your team and asking how we can serve more people. So I think if you just always have your mind on improving a program, it's gonna add up. You're eventually gonna get a better and better program as the months and years go by.
Love that. So true, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. All of my team calls always just end up shifting the conversation towards client success and the program improvement and stuff like that. And then again, I don't think it's a coincidence why the Wins channel is the way that it is and why we're speaking here today. Um, but that's awesome, man. So you've cracked 50K a month with your fitness coaching business. You're kind of assembling the team right now. What's next for you?
100K a month, right? That's the place I want to get to. Um, yeah, I just want to become very efficient with my time. I want to, like, my goal is to have my day spent on only making content and serving clients. Like those two things right there. I just want to be able to sit back, talk to clients all day, serve them, and make content and bring more people in the door. I think for me, the next piece would be to eventually bring in someone to take the sales calls, a closer, right? Take me out of that because right now, when you have so many calls on your calendar as well, that could be the next bottleneck, right? Like I might not have enough time to make content. I understand that in order for me to really scale even more, I need more eyeballs on my content. And the way I'm gonna get more eyeballs is producing really good content, taking the time to script more ads, working on the business, not in the business. And I think the next lever is getting a closer. Like I'm not in a big rush to get a closer. I don't know if that's a wrong move because I feel like it will come in due time. But I think that will be, and maybe that's like only 90 days away, 3 months away. I don't know. I'm just trying to work as hard as I can to get
Yeah,
to the point, but I want to bring a closer in and just spend my time making content and just being on the inside of the program, help people out.
love it, man. Love it. So, yeah, before we wrap it up here, what kind of advice would you give yourself 3 months ago? What do you
Uh,
wish you know, what do you know now that you wish you knew back then when you're kind of stuck at like 15, 20K a month?
to jump on the world of paid ads, find a mentor and just go for it. Honestly, just go for it. Go all in. Right. And Yeah. I would just, if I could talk to myself 3 months ago, I probably would tell the guy to just take a deep breath and relax, because when you're not in a mentorship like this, when you're in a program like this, like you wake up every day with anxiety, you wake up every day with stress, right? Like, um, there's another saying, like it's feast or famine all the time, right? And that's stressful. I would just tell myself to always bet on myself and go for it, and just to seek the next mentorship that's going to help you move the needle forward, because everyone has a path to success. There's no one out there that doesn't have a path to success, but you just have to bet on yourself. That's literally it. You have to take a risk and put your money where your mouth is. Because I see a lot of people that are stuck in the same position, and they're just doing that because they're not investing in their personal development. They're not investing in coaches. They're not investing in mentorship. And that's what's going to keep you stuck more than anything else.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, Arsh, really appreciate you hopping on here, man, with me. It's been such a pleasure to work together. Such a pleasure to have the infamous YouTube interview.
Yeah.
Selfishly, it's my goal now to recalibrate and have another one
Okay.
at 100K a month. Maybe we do that one in person.
100%.
We're not too far away, but yeah, man, it's been such a pleasure, such a blast. And I know from myself and every single person on the team as well, it's been an absolute honor to work with you and have you in the program and see your success and to see you just pop off as well. So whatever else we can do to support you, you know what to do. So let us
Yeah.
know. All right.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys. And this is, I would say, the first kind of like group that I want to be in for the long term. I don't want to just jump to the next one. Like I want to go from 50 to 100 and just kind of like, I don't know, I get really good energy being in the same proximity as you guys. So for me, I'm happy to be here. And yeah, the next one will be 100K and we'll make it happen.
Love it. All right. Well,
Journey.
thank you, man. And for those watching, if you want to get my help to scale your business, then click the link in the description. There's a link to our calendar, and we'll see if you're a good fit. So aside from that, see you in the next one.